I want you to hate like me. Hate is one of the most intense emotions we can experience. It rushes through us like an inferno when we come into contact with something we dislike or oppose. But the way most people experience hate is automatic. It's unexamined. When it's left unchecked, it poisons our thoughts, and it can influence and even control our actions. Think about it for a second. You could say that you hate blue cars. Then whenever one drives by, you have this intense dislike for that experience. You feel that reaction. But at one point in your life, you didn't even have any idea what blue or a car was. Something, maybe an experience that became a memory, an idea that you learned, or a way of thinking about things, became this reaction. Or maybe it even started out as a dislike that compounded over time and became this intense emotion. Whatever it is, something created an association in your mind about the thing and why you hate it. And over time, this reaction becomes automatic. Hate is usually fear and anger tangled together that push us into blind reaction. But if you stop and ask yourself why? Why do I hate this? Maybe at some point it was useful. But what about now? Is it just there ruining your experience of life? Fear itself often comes from the unknown, the uncertainty of life. It's a reaction to circumstances we can't control the outcome of. Anger, likewise, is a reaction to things happening contrary to how we think they should. Hate itself is a signal. It's telling us something is wrong. But as a signal, it should invite us to pause and reflect, not react and surrender reason. Anger pushes confrontation. Fear pushes reaction. If you let both of them run wild, you're not choosing anymore. You're not in control. You're just reacting. And in this state of reaction, you perpetuate a cycle of fear and anger, and it just continues. So, how do we confront it? The first step is when you feel hate welling up inside of you, stop for a moment. Reflect. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Is this justified? Or is it just impulsive? And trace it to its root. Where does it come from in your life? If fear is often associated with the unknown, then the antidote to it would be awareness. The more you're aware of why you fear, the greater you understand yourself. This leads you to a better ability to control that fear and rationalize it, and make it make sense, or even dispel it altogether. Simply the pause, in and of itself, to reflect, gets in the way of anger. We can't control everything around us. We can only control ourselves. And there's some amount of uncertainty in life that we will have to accept. But when we investigate our own fears and our own angers, what we do is we regain the control. We can minimize the amount of reactions we have to things that we hate. And from this, we can ensure outcomes where otherwise they would be uncertain. We get to choose how we respond to the things in the world that we just don't like. And eventually, you can just disregard them. You can just see them as passing things. Yeah, they exist, but do I really need to let them control my emotions? No. They can exist. At the core of hate, if you reflect deeply, you'll often discover something about yourself, something hidden, and something that needs attention. With that discovery comes the power to control your reaction next time. So hate can be a teacher, but only if you stop to listen. If you're going to carry hate, to do it blindly is very foolish. Once you recognize this, hate becomes a choice. We choose our likes and dislikes much more than we often realize. And so what we choose to hold inside of us is often what we become. Choose to hold in anger, fear, and hatred long enough, and it'll probably make you bitter. Choose to hold joy, curiosity, and peace inside, and it's not going to make you perfectly happy, but it can make you wiser, and you'll have a better shot at being content with life than you would if you were bitter. And hate isn't necessarily always bad. You can hate the quality and not the whole person. Hate the characteristic, but not a whole group. Because when you strip others of their dignity, you justify them doing it to you in return. And if you refuse to strip people of their dignity, you get to retain your peace of mind. Even though others can still hate you, that's their hate to carry, and you get to be free of that burden. If you have anger, it's good to find a way to channel that. It is a very powerful tool when it's used constructively and for creativity. Stay inquisitive about the things you don't understand, because fear dissolves in the light of knowledge. And if you decide to hold hate in, understand that it will become part of your identity, and that opens up the door to self-hatred. Since anything you keep within you is part of you, if you choose to keep hate in, you're choosing to make yourself feel hate in the future. You're choosing to hate yourself. So yes, hate has uses, but only when we investigate it and understand it. When we go through this process, we refine hate into something that, rather than a reaction, becomes moral clarity that informs what we like and dislike and why we like and dislike. But we can't get there without investigating it. So yeah, hate has its uses, but only when we refine it. Only when we turn it from a reaction into moral clarity and reasoned opposition. Only when we control it, and it doesn't control us. Until next time, always stay up to no good.